Sylvie of the multiple award-winning The Queen Sylvie Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Sylvie or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah. The Frida's Cleaning Service is a small family-owned business established in 2003. With over 17 years of professional, high-quality, and greatly satisfied service, the Frida's Cleaning Service will get the job done. Specializing in sanitizing your home, business, post-construction, and commercial cleaning, no job's too big or small. See for yourself and give us a call, 567-249-9172. La Frida's Cleaning Service. Our reputation is always spotless.
It used to be hard for this family to run and play in their yard. That big pooch left its business all over. Dad would spend his time cleaning up puppy messes. Now, I make sure the yard is clean so they can play without worry. Yes, there really is a poop fairy.
Do you have questions about buying or selling a home, not sure if you're qualified? Your local real estate agent, Antoinette Ware, is here for you. Do you live out of town, moving out of town, or looking for investment property? Well, let's work together and make it happen. Antoinette Ware can be reached at 419-917-6258. The name you know, celebrating over 20 years, serving Toledo and surrounding areas.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Yeah, let's rock. How's everybody doing on this wonderful Wednesday? Hope you've had an enjoyable hump day. I see the weather's been a little sporadic around the country. You know, we've been fortunate enough up here around the Great Lakes not to get dumped on too badly by the rain. Although it is a bit sticky, it's nothing compared to what's happening out west with record heat. But hey, you know, all kinds of stuff still going on around the world. You know, they're still bombing the hell out of each other over in the Middle East. Wow, that's still interesting. Let's, you know, I'd like to see those hostages come home pretty soon, and let's hope that happens. Keep these people still in our prayers, especially with everything else is going on. Don't get too distracted. Yeah, you know, besides, oh, yeah, geez, I don't know if everybody saw that, called a thermal feature at Yellowstone National Park exploded. And it was an epic explosion, as a matter of fact. They said one of the biggest they've had like there in 50, 60 years. Any regard, yeah, kind of, fortunately nobody was hurt, and it pretty much destroyed this little boardwalk they have built so you can walk amongst the thermal features if you really want to. It doesn't sound like it might be so damn safe anymore, especially since Yellowstone is actually just like a huge volcano, and when that thing explodes, hang on to your shorts. Anyhow, what else is happening? Oh, yeah, geez, over the weekend, what was that, Sunday night? Uncle Joe bowed out and endorsed Kamala, his VP, so now it looks like it's going to be the prosecutor versus the felon. We'll see how that goes. I know that she would probably love to debate Trump. Trump is probably nervous as hell, especially when you want to start talking about fraud, election interference, gross sexual imposition with women, and everything else. She'll tear him up. Donnie, you do not want to get on the stage and debate Kamala. I think that would be a big mistake. But in any regards, hey, let's get on to it. Excuse me, rather. Past week was the RNC in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Hello to my neighbors up north. And Trump was there doing his usual rhetoric of talking, just talking amongst a lot of different things that he hit on as far as topics. We'll look at this video real quick, but I mean, most of them lies. And it's real easy to tell when Trump's lying. Secret is his lips are moving. His lips are moving. He's probably lying. Check this out anyhow, folks.
For any of the more than 20 million people who reportedly watched Donald Trump's convention speech last night, two things were plain as day. First, there is no change in his tone. Expectations that his prepared remarks would offer a heartfelt appeal for national unity met the reality of a rambling, self-indulgent 93-minute Trump rally speech, full of lies about the Democratic Party, weaponizing the justice system, and the China virus, and a migrant invasion, including really sad and upsetting, lurid tales of crime. It's not. So here, I want to read you, okay, straight from a transcript of Trump's speech to show you what I mean. And the reason I'm going to read it to you is I have found often reading the transcript fully communicates what we're dealing with here. Okay, so in his own words, we will replenish our military and build an Iron Dome missile defense system to ensure that no enemy can strike our homeland. And this great Iron Dome will be built entirely in the USA. We're going to build it in the USA. Okay, just to be clear here, this is actually a plank in the RNC platform, and it's completely deranged. Okay? This would be like a child conjuring up what they think American defense policy is. Iron Dome protects from very short-range rockets that are fired from Gaza and sometimes from Lebanon into Israel. No one's firing rockets from Quebec, okay, or from Guadalajara. There's nothing to do there. We're not under assault from short-range rockets. Also, the system costs billions of dollars for a state the size of New Jersey, okay? We're talking like $1 trillion investment for something that doesn't exist as a threat. It literally makes no sense, and it is in the RNC platform. First part, he continues. And now he's ad-libbing, okay? That first part in the speech, now he's ad-libbing. And Wisconsin, just like I gave you that massive ship contract. You're doing a very nice job, Governor, right? Thank you, Governor. And they're doing a great job. Okay? So as far as I can tell here, Trump was looking over to Scott Walker, who did indeed serve as Wisconsin's governor 5 years ago, and is not the governor now. You're doing a great job, Governor, right? Not governor now. From the transcript again. In fact, I had a little design change, and we gave them a tremendous for essentially what we used to call destroyers. These are now the most beautiful. They look like yachts. Okay, so he changed the destroyers to look like yachts. I said we have to take the bow. We have to make it a little nicer, a little point at the top instead of flat nose. And the people at the shipyard said this guy sort of knows what he's doing. After he does the whole riff on the destroyers, he then goes back to Iron Dome. Again, Iron Dome. Israel has an Iron Dome. They have a missile defense system. It's not a missile defense system, by the way. It's a rocket defense system. 342 missiles were shot into Israel, and only one got through a little bit. It was badly wounded. I think he's talking about the rocket. It fell to the ground, but most of them are, and Ronald Reagan wanted this many years ago, but we really didn't have the technology many years ago. Remember, they called it Starship, Spaceship, anything to mock them? Okay, that, of course, is wrong. Reagan's plan was nicknamed Star Wars, which he obviously couldn't remember, so he said Starship, which is the rock band that sang "We Built This City" back in Trump's heyday.
Okay, so hey, just a couple of the pointers. I mean, And they talk about Joe, being a little bit incoherent and calling people by the wrong name, and obviously calling this gentleman a governor who was a former governor 5 years ago. So, yeah, he hasn't been governor for a long time. But anyhow, yeah, that was quite the clown show. I'm going to call it at the RNC. I might get some people upset, but it was a clown show. I mean, come on. They had Kid Rock on there, rapping some fight, fight, fight to, one of his songs, it was. And, oh, yeah, one of my favorite ones is, and you know that the Republicans, and especially these Project 2025 people who want to try to, run the RNC. And anyhow, they were really against porn, right? Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, but who do they have on as one of the guest speakers? Amber Rose. Amber Rose is a porn actress. So if you're against pornography, why are you going to have a porn actress speak? Unless somehow she's friends with Stormy, and that's how Donald met Stormy. I don't know the story, but hey, possibilities there. Could be a connection. Have to look into that one. In any regards, oh yeah, and of course, Hollywood Hawk Hogan. Hogan, yeah. So here you go, again, a person who has, some financial issues, an individual who has been accused or by his ex-wife Linda, that he was an abusive husband, and hey, check it out. But he gave an endorsement to Trump, so hey.
Well, let me tell you something, Hulkamaniacs. When you're a role model, you've got big responsibilities on your shoulders, brother. The Hulkster's always been real careful about sharing good morals and values, you dig? I'm talking about training hard every day, saying your prayers to the big man upstairs. And don't you forget about grabbing women by the when you're a star, they let you do it. Also, have extramarital affairs, many of them, multiple divorces, and multiple remarriages. Use harsh and insulting language towards others. Boast about your wealth and material possessions. Make as many false statements as you can. Express pride in yourself. Mock individuals, especially with disabilities. Laugh at immigrants, especially children being separated from their families. Encourage violence and use profanity in public, especially when giving a public speech. Finally, if anyone ever alleges sexual misconduct of you, point at the victim and say, "That's my wife."
Okay, Hulk. I'm sure that he really appreciates that endorsement. Although, yeah, it was funny when Hogan was on stage and he's like ripping off his Hulk shirt, and underneath it he has, I don't know, a Trump Make America Great or Horrible Again t-shirt or something. He didn't quite get it ripped off right the first time, but yeah, seriously, what a mess that was. But anyhow, just prior to the RNC convention, Trump announced his vice president pick, who he's going to have running with him, and it happens to be J.D. Vance out of Ohio. This is embarrassing. Let me cover all this up. This guy's a clown show, too. Yeah, and he's the one that wrote Hillbillyology, about growing up poor and with drug-dependent parents and shit in Appalachia, Ohio. Let me explain to you. This dude's from outside Cincinnati, yeah? There may be a few hills, but that is definitely not Appalachia. You get down into real southeast Ohio and down by the river, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of an Appalachia feel to it. You really got to get across the Ohio River to really get into mountains as you would view Appalachia and hillbillies, but this guy's full of it. In any regard, hey, let's watch this video so I can give you a little bit of insight on maybe who is J.D. Vance.
In your breakdown, a closer look at the Republican vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance. Vance is a senator from Middletown, Ohio. He was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2022. He's a Marine veteran who served in Iraq, then graduated from Ohio State University and Yale Law School. He's a successful businessman, and his book, Hillbilly Elegy, became a bestseller in 2016 and was turned into a movie. But that year, Vance said he did not vote for his own now running mate. In fact, Senator Vance once called himself a never Trump guy, saying on NPR, quote, "I can't stomach Trump," and once comparing him to Hitler. In now deleted tweets, he's called Trump an idiot, noxious, and reprehensible. He pulled a 180 over the next few years and in 2020 echoed Trump's lies of widespread election fraud. Vance earned an endorsement from Trump in his 2022 Senate race and eventually said he was, quote, wrong about Trump. On the issues, he reflects Trump's values in many ways. Vance is passionately pro-life, except in saving the life of the mother. He has said he would vote no to protecting interracial and same-sex marriages. Vance told a Catholic magazine in 2021 he would like to ban pornography. And he has said diversity and inclusion programs are racist and should be outlawed. Not only that, he also likes porn stars, grabbing women by the pussy, talking about having sex with his daughter on radio and television. Just this weekend, Vance faced backlash after a post blaming the Biden campaign's rhetoric for the assassination attempt on Trump, instead of urging unity or condemning political violence.
All righty then. So, yeah, there you go, J.D. Vance. Yeah, he's quite the character. I'm not... Obviously, he flipped. Hugely, he flipped. And as he said, that is the facts, and he's deleted all this stuff ever since. But, yeah, he said all that stuff about Trump, never Trump, Trump's like Hitler, every bit of that. But, once he got endorsed and got into the Senate, and now that, Don's putting his arm around his shoulder, and I want you as my buddy running, yeah, everything's hunky-dory. He was completely wrong about Donnie. Anyhow, hey, let's move on, as the world spins out of control and move into a better segment. Let's call it Watching Your Dollars. And in any regards, I saw this on the television, and so I did some quick research on it, and I want to share this with you because this could be a scam that you could easily fall into.
For your money this morning, we're back with some more scams to watch out for on your next vacation. It seems that scammers like to go after potential victims staying in hotels, and that's exactly what these do. CBS 4's Zach Myers is here with 2 vacation scams you should know about. Why are these scammers trying to ruin our vacations?
Well, because they know we're distracted, right? You're on vacation,
Right.
You're just thinking of having fun, you're not thinking about this stuff. And of course, when you're in your hotel, you got to eat, right, too? So these scammers know that. So one scam that's been working for years involves the bad guys walking through hotels, slipping flyers under the doors for a nearby pizza place or a fake room service menu. So why would you question that, right? When you call the number, they'll take your order and your credit card information. But there's no pizza place or room service, just a crook on the other end of the line who's going to take your credit card info and use it as fast as they can before you realize, hey, where's my pizza anyway? The experts at Scamicide say a good rule to follow is never trust a flyer under the door at the hotel. You can also Google the name of the pizza place and see if it's real and if the phone number matches. As for room service, well, you should be able to call them with the button on your room phone, not a flyer slid under your door. Here's another one you don't want to sleep on, literally. Say it's 3 a.m., you're in a deep sleep in your hotel, and the front desk calls your room phone. They say, we're sorry, we've had a problem with your room payment, and we need to run your card again. Well, would you grab your wallet, half asleep, and read them the card information, or snap out of your daze and realize it's a scammer calling your room from outside the building? This one is called the fake front desk scam, and it's just another way for crooks to trick you into reading your credit card information over the phone. They're hoping to catch you half asleep with this one in the middle of the night. According to the watchdogs at Trend Micro, the best way to handle that call is to hang up and call the front desk back directly. There's a good bet they won't know what you're talking about. Or you can just say, I'll come down to the front desk at a reasonable hour in the morning and handle it in person.
That's exactly the way you deal with that stuff. You get some late night phone calls, and front desk is not going to be calling you at that type of night. Besides, usually the person that's going to handle that is going to be their bookkeeper, accounting, and they're not going to be working that hour anyhow, so not going to happen. Hey, just want you to keep your eye out, keep yourself aware. There's all kinds of different scams out there. And I mean, and I've seen these flyers that they're speaking of that, they'll slide under the door or, pizza or whatever. Yeah. No. I'll use my Google Maps anyhow to see and maybe get the ratings of any place around it. I'm not going to order from some crap-ass pizza place. No. Anyhow, scam place. My bad. Anyhow, hey, speaking of watching your dollars and keeping an eye on things, let's take a hard look at how damn expensive it is anymore for a individual and or even a family to go on vacation.
And today's Money Watch, how your summer vacation plans could hit you in the wallet. The economy and inflation topped the list of very important issues for Americans in a recent CBS News poll. More than half of them said gas prices are now a hardship or difficult. Chris Van Cleve is in Virginia Beach. In Virginia, what's going on? You got your sleeves rolled up and you're ready to rock on this busy holiday weekend.
Well, good morning, Nate. We know Americans are feeling the impact of inflation, but still 70% say they are planning to take a summer vacation. They're going to find when that bill comes, it's going to look a lot like it did last year, but there are still some real pain points. Life's a beach for the McLaughlin family this week, getting an early start on the holiday weekend. They drove a couple of extra hours from Charlotte to Virginia Beach when they spotted a deal.
Get a break from working and stuff, and then it's like just a family thing, you can enjoy just having that time with each other.
Compared to Memorial Day 2023, the overall cost of travel is actually down slightly. Hotel prices inched down while airfare descended nearly 6% and rental car costs slowed by 10%. But vacationing in 2024 still costs you 15% more than before the pandemic. Sally French tracks vacation inflation for NerdWallet.
What's interesting is that travel prices are not up as high as the overall rate. A big factor is airfares in not seeing huge price increases.
But this year, many airlines raised the fees on checked bags.
That could be $5 and then multiply that times 2 for your round trip, multiply that times 4 for your family of 4, and you're seeing that the cost of travel actually does feel like it's going up, even if individual prices are going down.
Going up is the cost of entertainment. Doing things while on vacation rose 3.4%, and all those meals out will cost you more this summer, and nearly 30% more than 2019.
A lot of people won't budget restaurant prices when they're making that initial vacation plan.
With 38.4 million Americans expected to drive to their Memorial Day getaway, gas prices have been dropping for the last month, now hovering around 4 cents more than last year.
Most of the summer this year could be very close to last year. More affordable gas prices well below the records that we saw in 2022, and not a bad time for Americans to hit the road.
So you can save some money by being flexible when you book, maybe on the travel days, but also the destination. Factor in eating out. That's the thing that will surprise you when the credit card bill comes at the end of the month. And don't save all of those travel points. Use them when you get them, Nate.
Use them when you get them, Nate. Yeah, those travel points before they expire go away. Anyhow, yeah, that's ridiculous. I was looking that up, and they were saying the average cost for an American is $1,500 for a week vacation. And a family of 4, so obviously $6,000. Unless you decide you want to take the family down to someplace like Disney World or such like that, and then you can just triple it. So you could be shelling out between obviously $12,000 to $18,000 for a week vacation down to Wonder World. You call it Dismal World down in Orlando. Wow, you'll be dismal when you get the bill. That's why I say that. That's insane. Anyhow, hey, speaking of getting dismal and being insane, that is the cost to maintain and purchase a vehicle, both of them actually. I had seen that one statistic that said it costs an average American $12,000 a year for a vehicle. Like, oh my God, and I started thinking about it. It's like, yeah, and you start talking about gas maintenance and the other things that go along with ownership. Wow. Check this out, man.
At S&S Automotive in Secaucus, New Jersey, Owner Keith Scaglione is working hard to keep prices low for his loyal customers. And it hasn't been easy.
To do something like this, a few years ago, would it have cost the same or cost less?
No, it's definitely costing more.
Right.
That's a sensor like that now is probably at least 10% more than it was 2 years ago.
Keith used to adjust his prices once a year. Now it's every 3 to 6 months. That's because the total annual cost of simply owning and maintaining a new car climbed to more than $12,000 last year, up from about $11,000 the year before. And that doesn't even include monthly car payments, which spiked along with rising interest rates. Heather Trumke is a mother of 6 in Atlanta who sold her SUV.
You loved your SUV. Why did you sell it?
The cost just got out of control, and the maintenance, the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, and it was just heartbreaking.
Her insurance alone rose more than $100 a month. Car insurance up more than 20% nationwide last year as insurers pay out for pricier claims.
You have a high number of claims for all kinds of reasons, including that people aren't driving very well broadly. The data bears that out. And then you have climate events that are essentially totaling cars.
Back in Keith's repair shop, this business is more than just a job. Keith's uncle started it back in 1969, and it has been serving this community ever since. But a lot has changed. These are not your grandparents' cars. Now they're full of pricey sensors and cameras.
This truck probably has at least 60 computers in it.
60 computers in one piece of machinery.
Yes.
And those parts more expensive to repair. But longtime customers like Alan Bonin say they'll keep coming back.
Oil price goes up, labor costs have gone up.
Yeah.
And you pay the price.
Indeed, don't we pay the price? It's getting ridiculous. You're spending $300 for a battery for your vehicle. You could be getting into, close to $2,000 if there's, something seriously mechanically wrong with your vehicle. The cost of repair and ownership, besides the fact that, the pandemic and the lack of production of cars and the availability of used cars drove the price up out of control, which it'll probably never recover. I doubt it'll ever recover from that. I think the prices will still remain high, and a lot of overpriced vehicles out there. And then there's the fact that your insurance goes up because of the various reasons, and you may get dropped altogether if you have a Hyundai or a Kia vehicle and you didn't get your software update, the anti-theft or whatever update they put in there. Your insurance company could easily drop you. There's some insurance companies that aren't even covering Hyundais and Kias. So now what are you going to do, folks? Unbelievable. Probably the only good thing, and parents are probably looking forward to, is that the kids are soon going to be going back to school. And this may be, where we could actually see some cost savings as compared to, prior years or even everything else going up this year. But hey, check it out. And I'm sure that, if you haven't been out there looking, you will be soon. School is just around the corner.
There's Christina. Yes, there's a little bit of both. Let's start with the bad news. The price for services like after-school care and even haircuts are still high. The good news is the price of items like school supplies, those are cheaper this year. When it comes to popular back-to-school items, for the first time since the pandemic, many prices are actually down, according to Zions Bank's senior economist, Robert Spenlove.
You're going to be pleasantly surprised to see that those notebooks and those pencils and pens and those shoes and the clothes are less expensive than they were in the past.
What's the biggest drop in price?
One of the biggest ones is calculators are down about 12%. And things like that, smartphones and other technology that kids will use for school have dropped significantly.
While back-to-school goods are down in price, Prices for back-to-school services are still high.
Things like school tuition, school fees, or things like haircut prices.
Spendlove says during periods of inflation, goods prices go up and come down first. Prices for services follow.
As the inflation is coming down, in some areas we've seen inflation coming down like the nation, but in some of those core services areas, we continue to have higher inflation than the nation.
Here in Utah?
Yeah, in Utah.
Nationally, parents of K through 12 kids will spend about $900 per child on back to school and about $1,400 per college kid. Spendlove has this advice so you don't overspend.
Overall advice for parents going into back to school shopping is number one, you need to go in with a plan. Have an idea what you're going to be buying, have an idea how much it's going to cost. Number two, you should have an overall budget, not just a budget for each item.
And of course, you can always have your kids join in on making a budget for back to school shopping. It's a good way to teach them a lesson about money and being financially responsible.
She's got a point. Yeah, teach them a little bit of financial responsibility. And I saved the best for last. Yeah, that $900 for a typical K through 12 kid, and $1,400 for back to school supplies needs for a college university student. That's quite expensive. After what we just talked about with I gotta have a car to get back and forth, and my God, that thing's costing me an arm and a leg. And they wanted to take this summer vacation up to the lake, and that cost me just so much it wasn't even funny. So hey, absolutely insane. But hey, let's get on to something that actually is needs to have some attention drawn to it. It could be controversial. I'm sure that some people have opinions one way or the other of why. Is it because of our environment? Is it because of the chemicals that's going into the food and drink that we ingest? Is it from the various vaccines that we've had? But it seems that there's been a significant increase in the amount of children, even around the world, being construed or showing up as autistic.
Now to that just released new data from the CDC that shows more children than ever are being diagnosed with autism. Joining us with details and the takeaways for parents who are watching and listening this morning, NBC's senior medical correspondent, Dr. John Torres. Dr. Torres, I found this eye-opening. 20 years ago, 1 in 150 kids had autism in this country. The CDC now says that number is 1 in 36 children. Do we know what's driving the increase?
It looks like the majority of increase is because of increased awareness and screening, and that's happening right now. As a matter of fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics didn't recommend routine screening for autism until 2008. And now what they recommend is screening for autism at 18 and 24 months and developmental screening for all the other developmental milestones at 9, 18, and 30 months. And so more screening's happening, it's happening in more places, and so we're getting more diagnosis.
This study also said that it's affecting different demographics for the first time. CDC finding more than 1% of girls overall have autism. Predominantly it's been found in boys, and certain minority groups reporting more cases of the disorder than ever before. So is this, again, more screening and that's why we're catching it, or is there suddenly more prevalence in some of these groups?
And so what we think is happening is we don't really have a firm understanding of causes, but we do understand risks more. And because of those risks, they're screening more, saying, okay, you might have a risk for this, look at this as well. But the overall driving factor for the numbers you're seeing going up is that screening and awareness, the equity behind it. And it's happening in more minority communities, so we're getting more minorities screened and more minorities getting diagnosed. And girls on top of that, girls tended to be a little bit left behind because they paid more attention to boys and their hyperactivity than they did girls and some of their behavioral issues. And so girls are now getting screened as well. That equity is important. So overall, it's basically any gender, any race, it could happen to anyone.
Well, speaking of awareness then for parents out there, what are some warning signs they should be looking out for?
So you want to look at developmental signs as time goes on. And there's a great way to do it. The CDC has an app. It's called the Milestone Tracker. You can go there and put it on, and it starts at 2 months. And you want to look at it. Some things to look at: eye contact, children who we screen for autism don't tend to have eye contact. On top of that, they could have delayed language development and repetition of words or phrases or repetition of behaviors. They tend to do the same thing, kind of that rocking back and forth sometimes. Interests are restricted. They're not as interested in the diverse things that kids usually are. And then they have these intense reactions to sounds or smells or lights or those types of things.
All right. Dr. John, and there's so much in the study. You're actually going to come back during the third hour to talk about it a little bit more as well. So,
you bet.
Thank you.
Well, interesting. Yeah, I imagine there could be a number of reasons, as that gentleman specified. It could be that we're doing more outreach and discovering that, our original findings and studies was not broad enough or inclusive enough to have a real accurate depiction of how severe is autism. I still wonder why. I think I've noticed it more, and, I have my own opinions, and I'd like to know what yours is. Any regards, I know everybody over the weekend, too, oh my God, they had a software update that shut down and caused chaos everywhere, from hotels to airlines to government facilities. It was just people couldn't get their Social Security done. They couldn't, if they had to go get some licensing work done, they couldn't do it. And it all comes down to a security software that's supposed to keep people from hacking into the system, holding it hostage, whatever. And wow, so their update actually caused more chaos than a hacker probably ever could, and a huge inconvenience to the world in whole, I guess.
One small computer update gone wrong and the world comes to a crashing halt. So as we navigate our increasingly digital world, is the largest IT outage in history a wake-up call on just how vulnerable we've become?
Flights grounded.
It stinks. It's scary.
Banks, media outlets, government agencies, hospital and emergency services plunged into chaos.
One flaw can cause absolute chaos and havoc on critical infrastructures globally.
The depth of the world's dependence on big tech exposed.
Windows operates 3 out of every 4 desktop computers.
How did we allow for one company, one entity, to control whether or not America and the rest of the world can be in business?
Microsoft reports 8.5 million devices were hit by Friday's outage, less than 1% of all Windows machines. The cause? A botched software update by cybersecurity company CrowdStrike.
Elon Musk posted on X that he has deleted CrowdStrike from all of his systems.
CrowdStrike is a very respectable company. They test and they test and they test. So someone really dropped the ball.
Shares of CrowdStrike taking a battering today in the market.
CrowdStrike has close to 30,000 customers, including nearly 300 members of the Fortune 500.
No wonder when there's a mishap at CrowdStrike, it affects the globe. This may well turn out to be, in terms of the actual impact on personal and commercial lives, the biggest cyber and computer incident ever.
But today, amid calls to trust our software suppliers,
they're a trusted company with trusted products.
The price of a digitised world and the dangers of monopolisation has been laid bare.
We've let vulnerabilities creep into the system, and one of those big vulnerabilities is concentration.
So as the world recovers from the chaos,
we know what the issue is. We're resolving and have resolved the issue.
Is it time we rethink our reliance on digital technology and the handful of major companies who provide it?
It requires a major dialogue with the tech industry. It requires looking strategically at how tech evolves, because you're not going to rip this all out and start again.
How did we design a system that could take down the world?
Because we let it happen. And think about this, folks. Your phone's not working, right? And you got everything on that damn Android or iPhone. And now I can't get to my calendar, I can't get to my contacts, ain't shit working, and my computer's not firing up, and oh my goodness, somehow all the computer technology embedded into my vehicle is acting up. Think about this. Are we too dependent? You know what happened with everything's frickin' automated. everything's smart. Smart TVs, smartphones, smart refrigerators, smart washers and dryers. Everything's smart now, connected. So think about it. Maybe we are a little bit too dependent. And what would happen if somehow you had a massive takeover or a massive virus that affected everything and everybody? Anyhow, hey, check it out. Let's move on to one of my favorite parts that I like to call What the Fuck. And What the Fuck is kind of interesting this time because every once in a while you can come across something that is maybe 1 in a million or 1 in 2 million. Or, hey, who knows what the odds of this could be.
And you have to check this out. A rather unusual find ended up in a shipment of live lobsters delivered to a Red Lobster in Colorado. Check it out. One of the workers discovered cheddar, a rare orange lobster. Well, orange lobsters turn up in 1 out of every 30 million. Wow. Cheddar was not on the dinner menu, but the lobster was spared, and he's now having a nice, lush life at the Denver Aquarium. Maggie?
As he should. Go off, King. That's what I like to see.
Oh, good for you. 1 in 30 million. So, hey, that's quite a find. And, hey, you know, at least the cook must have been at least a seasoned cook that spotted and said, hey, you know what? That's an odd-looking lobster. So, hey, I'm glad that they were able to donate it to a aquarium zoo. And now everybody gets to enjoy seeing a rare lobster. If that's what your thing is, you want to check out some lobsters, you need to go to, where was that at? Denver? So check out the Denver Zoo. And let's move on to toward the end of the show. Of course, we have to have an asshole of the week. And hate to put it like this, but there is a gentleman down in Louisiana. He is the pastor of Covenant Church. His name is Jesse Duplantis, and this gentleman lives unbelievably. He has his own private jet. He has his beautiful mansion. He's got it all going on, and anyhow, was asked a little bit about some of it, and let's listen to his answer. Hang on, I have to get the award up there for him. There we go. And here we go. Jesse, tell everybody why you should be this week's biggest asshole.
Watch this millionaire pastor's wife accidentally expose him on live TV.
Why I don't care what people think about me, about what I have. Now, look at me. I am a very blessed man. Me and Kathy are very blessed. I mean, spiritually, physically, and financially. I've had more people criticize me over that jet. They still can't get over it. Criticize me over my house. They didn't pay for it. I paid for it. You understand what I say? All these different things. But let me tell you why. That's water on a duck's back to me. And I'm going to give you a scripture. And it's Psalms 49, verse 16. Be not thou afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. Read that and pull that up in the Amplified.
Well, it's Amplified says it, be not afraid when an ungodly one is made rich.
That's true.
When the wealth and glory of his house are increased, and goes on, for when he dies, he will carry nothing away. His glory will not descend.
See, God don't care if someone's ungodly to be rich or godly to be rich. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever at all.
Jesse Duplantis got one thing right. He is an ungodly rich man who distorts the Christian message to benefit himself. Subscribe for more shorts like this.
Guy lives like a king, yeah. And obviously, when he says it's his own money that he's buying this jet with and he's buying this mansion with, who's paying you the money? The congregation. Who decides how much money you're worth to stand up there every Sunday and amongst your other duties and obligations to the church congregation? Worth that kind of money? I think that's the question people have. Not necessarily your godliness, except you pretty much explained that when you misquoted scripture. In any event, hey, let's get the heck on out of here, and I super appreciate you tuning on in and spending another hump day with me. I hope you enjoyed the information that I shared, especially watch out for some of those scams and watch your dollars when it comes to your summer vacation, and hopefully your kids will take it easy on you with the back to school. Also, hey, if you know somebody, that could possibly be autistic, or, hey, make somebody aware of that, and or get them in to see somebody and get some help so that before it's too late and this person doesn't fall behind in this world that we live in. But anyhow, hey, I am out of here, and I am going to leave you with a little song, a video song, as a matter of fact. And I have to believe that absolutely everybody remembers this little guy. And until next week, man, I'll holla, bye.
My mind on my money on my mind, sipping on gin and juice. With so much drama in the LBC, it's hard being Snoop F-R-O-G-G. Raise off these nuts, 'cause you get none of these. I roll through the frog pond, feel the breeze. It's 2 in the morning and the party's still jumping while you motherfuckers bounce to this. Hoes and bitches, bitches and hoes, chronic and Tanqueray. Ease up, hose down, as we're rolling through town. Funky ash every single day. Got piggies in the living room getting it on. Ain't leaving till 6 in the morn. Got a pocket full of rubbers, and my homeboys do too. So let's smoke an ounce to this.